We've all driven down the interstate in a bad thunderstorm at night, right? And you're going 20 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you go under an overpass, and it's total peace, just for a split second. And then you roll right back out into the thunderstorm. That's what addiction's like for the addict. When I was 7 years old, I had become friends with an older kid in the neighborhood. He might have been 13 or 14 at the time. I just wanted to ride my bike through the neighborhood and splash through mud holes, and I was being a kid, you know. And one day he wanted to go up to his house, and we went up there. He molested me in his bedroom. I remember the shame and guilt I felt from that. I can remember growing up thinking, did that make me different? Did it make me gay? Is that part of my life now? What am I supposed to do? I was a homicide investigator and a child abuse investigator for a sheriff's department. And I would just go out drinking with the guys on the weekends and stuff. And that's how it all started for me, just drinking some alcohol. But I remember the night that the pharmacy had been broken into. And I remember walking in so clearly that night without the thought in my head, but then I seen my drug of choice laying all over the floor. And so I snapped pictures and I start doing my thing, but this voice in the back of my mind kept saying, you might need some of these for later on. The next day, I'm going to go to the gym to work out, and I happen to think, you know, I've got some of those pills. I'll take a few pain pills in case I hurt something at the gym. And I took so many that I passed out at a stop sign in a truck with my foot on the brake. And so they called the ambulance, which takes me to the emergency room, which the doctors cut my clothes off of me, and all these pills spill out all over the floor. And so that was the end of my law enforcement career. And I lost my identity, I lost my career. Pretty soon my wife was filing divorce papers on me. I was moving out of the house. I still had my truck left, but then it's gone, you know, and I'm walking the streets. And I've lived every place that people would let me come. And pretty soon that runs out too. And I can remember the day I was in the back of the car this time, and we rounded the curve, and I looked up and I seen the prison, and I said, there's where I'll die. So I end up spending a little over 4 years in there, and I got out. And within months, I'm back on the streets in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm done. I'm going to commit suicide. And I picked the gun up, and I said, man, I don't have the courage to do it. I need to get high one more time. But I flipped my phone up, and it had the speed dial on it, and number 4 was my drug dealer. And I pushed number 4, and it rung, and a voice said, hello, and it wasn't my drug dealer. Come to find out, the guy's name is Kerry Carson, and he had just got his 6 months in at the Pilgrim Hope Center. And I said, Kerry, I'm sitting beside a creek, man. I've got a pistol in my lap. I said, I'm going to kill myself. He said, no, don't do that, man. Come down here. He said, I'll tell you to change your life. And I had a clothes basket with 1 t-shirt, 1 pair of socks, no underwear, and a weight belt. And that's how I ended up at the Hope Center the first time. I remember them talking about a place called 615, and I wanted to go. I wanted to serve, and I wanted to do ministry work. And I'm starting to get, the fog's starting to lift, you know, and I'm starting to feel like a person again, you know. And I said, who do I ask about getting a ministry position? That was my wording. And they said, there's a redheaded lady right over there. Her name's Jennifer, and she kind of gives everybody stuff to do. So I think, you know, she's going to give me the mic and let me preach the gospel, you know. So I walk up to her and I said, hello, Jennifer, I'm Diesel, and I would like to get into ministry work. She said, you would? I said, yeah. She said, okay, I need somebody to clean toilets anyway. And at first when I heard her say that, I remember thinking, I've stood with governors. You know, I've been this, I've done that. Don't you know who I am? But I didn't say a word. I took the toilet brush, and in my mind, I said, I'm gonna be the best toilet scrubber they've got. But I had got a little overwhelmed in the ministry, and I wouldn't ask for help, and went back up to East Tennessee to visit my mom, and made a bad choice while I was up there. Somebody approached me with some pain medication, and I ended up doing it. And I came back to a staff meeting, and everybody was there and seen me, and they knew something was wrong. I went back into the Hope Center, tried that didn't work out, and so I left. And when I left, I had signed an agreement that I would not leave Hope Center because I was still on parole. And I was arrested again, and I was sent back to prison for a second time. I had let everybody down. Jennifer and I were on our way to being married. We had a date set. I had relapsed. And Jennifer and I had sent a letter back and forth, and she basically said, look, I'm for you, but it's over, basically. And the guilt and the shame of that caused me at night to look around my cell and try to find a place for my sheet to wrap it around something and to end my life. I remember being in my cell, and I'm thinking it's going to be November or December before I get out, and it's February, and they come back there and they say, Smith, find you a place to go. You're getting out in 2 weeks. And I can remember panic setting in. I had nowhere to go. What am I going to do? Hit the streets again, And for the first time, I said, okay, God, what do you want me to do? And as clear as I'm speaking now, I heard God say, go back to the Hope Center. And I've got Carson Plant's cell phone number memorized in my mind. And he sent some guys up there to get me and to bring me back to the Hope Center. It's little things like that this ministry does that no other place will do. And when I got out, there was just something missing in me, and I knew what it was. It was Jennifer. She's one of the first people I called too, and she's like, no, we're not going to do this. And she still had to walk through her hurts too. So we were able to separate from each other, and God did a work in her. At the same time, God did a work in me, and then when we came back together, we were ready. And in November the 16th, we were married. She is more than a wife. She's my best friend. She's my companion. She's one I lean on in those tough times when things aren't going great. She's dynamite. That's what she is. And she's the love of my life. There is no doubt in my mind, I would not be alive sitting here talking to you today if it was not for Hope Center Ministries. And I can say this with all honesty, that the love they shown me after I had made a mistake and I came back in, and I made a mistake and I came back in, and they never turned me down. I don't know how to put it in words, but Hope Center Ministries is changing the world.